My name is Paula Town. I'm a Cancer Champion Officer at Pioneering Care Partnership. So today we're here to talk about bowel cancer, the fourth most common cancer in the UK. Bowel cancer is a cancer that develops in the large intestines or colon, with 48,000 cases being detected annually. I just wanted to share with you a few facts about bowel cancer. 94% of cases are diagnosed in those aged over 50. However, it can affect anyone at any age. Almost 17,000 people die each year from bowel cancer. That's about one person every 31 minutes. If caught early, 9 out of 10 people will survive. Screening is vital for early detection, and it can detect cancer even before there are any symptoms. Screening is for those aged 50 to 74 every 2 years via the home test kit. Sadly, around 30% of people that are eligible don't complete their fit test. The good thing is that bowel cancer in many cases is preventable through healthy lifestyles, reducing red and processed meats, drinking within guidelines, not smoking, eating plenty of fibre, being active and having a balanced diet. What does put people at risk is smoking, alcohol, a family history, obesity, age, Lynn's syndrome, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, having type 2 diabetes and benign polyps. Signs and symptoms of bowel cancer are a change to toilet habits, so that's going more often, less often, having diarrhea and constipation, blood in poo or bleeding from your bottom, feeling like you still need to go after you've already emptied your bowels, unexpected weight loss, feeling tired a lot, being bloated, having a lump in your tummy, pain in your abdomen and constipation. So what you should do if you've got any of these, well, if any symptoms that you have are not normal for you, you should go see your GP and discuss it with them. They may ask you to complete a fit test or refer you for further testing such as a coloscopy. Quite often these symptoms can be caused by something else, but it's important to get them checked out. Lots of people don't want to bother their GP, but a GP would rather you see them and it turned out to be nothing to worry about than you not see them over something that can be cancer related. So today I'm chatting with Donna Sheavills, who is a colleague here at PCP. Donna is going to share her story of having cancer in her bowel, but this isn't the typical bowel cancer, as you will find out. So thank you for chatting with me today, Donna. So I'm just wondering what it was when you first noticed something wasn't quite right.
For me, I think some of those symptoms that you've just touched on before about something that just wasn't quite right when I was going to the toilet, and it seemed to be a bit irregular. Things just weren't coming and functioning the way that they normally did.
Yeah, because you're a lot younger than the average age, aren't you, for cancer as well? So I suppose cancer was on your mind, was it?
No, at the time I had just obviously gone through a bereavement when my dad had passed away. And when I first started getting some pains and uncomfortable feelings in my abdomen, a lot of the things I was thinking, is it because I'm going through the physical effects of grief? And obviously just that made me think, what do I need to do? Do I need to seek some help to be able to get looked after? It just then progressed from there.
Did you go see somebody straight away, or did you dwell on it a little bit because of the you don't want to bother your GP kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I did sort of delay going and seeing because, again, as you say, I was thinking I was 43 at the time. I was looking at, obviously, what was happening in my life around me, and was it going to be put down to stress? Were they going to believe me? Were they going to say, oh, you know, what is it about your diet and things like that?
So when you eventually did go see your GP, what happened next?
Initially, it was something that they said to me, because of my age, and because it was just starting to show some symptoms then. They did talk to me about diet and whether or not it might be something to do with like IBS, and anything that could be resolved with some perhaps peppermint oil, different types of things, keeping a food diary. So they did start being able to say monitor it really and keep an eye on what some of the things that were happening, and be able to see how it progressed.
Because to me, of what I know of you, you seem quite healthy, you're fit, you like to exercise and things like that. So you're not like the normal, typical seem to be like the risk factors that you have.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I wasn't a smoker at that point. I had smoked probably a long time ago before then when I was a bit younger. But I hadn't smoked for a very long time. I wasn't classed as obese. I didn't have diabetes. So any of those points that you've sort of said that you might think at risk. So again, it was something that it wasn't the first thing that sprung to mind that might be it, until things started to progress a bit more. I did notice the fatigue and tiredness, but again, being somebody in their 40s and being female, it was again, could that be perimenopause and what it might be?
Yeah. So how did it get diagnosed in the end?
So I did end up losing about 10% of my body weight. Very tired, very fatigued. I had to go to the hospital multiple times. And at that point, they didn't really give me anything productive other than you might need to take some painkillers, you might need to look at your diet. But then at that point, I was only eating probably about a yogurt and a banana a day because I'd lost my appetite. So I'd been backwards and forwards, and I then ultimately ended up being put down to a 2-week referral pathway, and they sent off for me to get a fit test, and the fit test came back positive, and I was then referred to the hospital. But between then, I then suffered from severe dehydration and had a funny turn, for a better phrase, where actually everything around me was sensory overload. So I couldn't walk properly, I couldn't function, I couldn't look at the lights, I couldn't bear and wear my glasses. I'd gone to sort of the really deteriorated point. And my husband took me to the GP and said, we need to do something. And he sent me straight through to the hospital. And I was then there over for the weekend, isolated, and they were putting fluids and antibiotics and things through me. And then I had the scan on the Monday morning. And by lunchtime, they came and told me that I'd had a mass in my bowel, and it had caused a rare condition called intussusception, which means that my bowel had telescoped back on itself, and that was what was causing some of the pain. And from there, I then got looked at having staged to check if it had gone anywhere else. So I had lots of different scans, and they then said I had to have an operation to have part of my bowel removed along with the tumour, and they sent it away for testing. And it then came back and said it was actually a rare sarcoma. So it was something that they hadn't really come across before, and it's not generally in your bowel, but all the symptoms that I had actually match up with bowel cancer.
So you had cancer in your bowel, but not technically bowel cancer, but very much alike. It's quite common to get it in your uterus, that one, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's I can always not quite sure how to pronounce it, but it's leiomyosarcoma.
Yeah, I looked it up actually.
Oh, yes.
How you pronounce leiomyosarcoma?
Yeah. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a rare cancer, but it can actually come in any of the smooth organs, and it's quite a fast-growing one with comparison to bowel cancer. Because I think that was the thing, trying to get my head around when they told me that I had it, of where does it come from? You know, was this meaning that it was a late stage, an early stage? Lots of things go through your head at the time. And it is quite worrying. So I think sometimes having somebody to be able to talk to is really important, and finding out some information without getting it too overwhelming.
Yeah, because it must have been really scary, because obviously maybe towards the end where you were in hospital, you're maybe thinking cancer, but it must have been a big shock when somebody suggested cancer to you.
Yeah, because I think I knew that something wasn't quite right with my body at that point, but I don't think I expected that that's what they were going to tell me. And then obviously then what follows after that, and you know, as I say, staging and where it was and whether or not it had spread. And I'd still now have that legacy really, where it's getting monitored and be able to check if it comes back. And a lot of the stuff that once you've had a cancer diagnosis, that stays with you in a way. So I think being able to speak about it openly is really important, and share the story so that people are more aware, and if they can get checked out earlier, I think it's really important.
Because you were sort of like the seemed to put you off, didn't they? Did you feel a little bit like you weren't being heard and believed?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It was when I was going, it was, well, change something in your diet. And because you age, you know, because it might be something else and it might not be anything too concerning. It was very much having to keep going back and keep pushing to say something isn't right.
I've heard a few people say to actually be diagnosed sometimes is a bit of a relief that you actually know what it is. It's not a nice outcome that you want, but at least to be given some answers.
Yeah. And especially because those around me as well were getting worried because they could see the visible sort of symptoms, especially if, you know, if you get that weight loss element, and what that looks like and feels like for other people as well. Because when it's cancer, there's also the ripple effect of those around you and the worry that it causes for them. And I think when you see somebody deteriorating and you don't know why, it's very scary for the person, but it's also very scary for those around them.
So you've obviously had part of your bowel removed. Has that caused any further issues for you, though? Are you back to normal? Or is it always something that's going to affect you?
I think I am still left with some impact from it.
Sorry if that were too personal.
No, I am still left from some impacts with it. And I think the surgeon and the team that did the operation did an amazing job. I've been and sort of had scans regularly to be able to check on that. But there are some foods now that I can't tolerate. Some that I get some pain and some symptoms that, you know, still go a bit erratic. And I think sometimes it does take you back there because you get a bit worried thinking, is it going to be that again? So I think, again, it's just being open about that being important.
So what is your prognosis now? Has it completely gone? I know there's a risk that obviously cancers can come back, but where are you now with your sort of treatments and everything?
I'm in a very positive position. So as it stands, I had the tumour removed, which was about the size of a peach, they say, and had part of my bowel removed. But I can live a very fulfilling life. I get scans yearly now. They work more frequently, about 3 months than 6 months, but they are yearly. And at my last scan, they say it showed no evidence of recurrence, is what they call it. So there was no signs of that. And after my surgery, they did take some lymph nodes as well, and it didn't look like it spread or anything. So
that's really good to hear, isn't it? Yeah. Thankfully that you pushed and you didn't take no for an answer. Because it's like, we know as bodies, don't we? We know when there's something not right. And it's really good that you actually persisted and made sure that you just didn't go away, because you know the outcomes, you don't know them, do you? What they're going to be. So what would you say to anybody that's, you know, got some symptoms and the, you know, a little bit, oh, I don't want to bother my GP, or what would you sort of like say?
I would definitely say go to your GP. The worst thing that can happen is you have some tests and it doesn't show anything. But if you continue to have that, keep persevering and keep saying, if something's deteriorating and you're not right and you need to get looked at. So, you know, we see a lot of signs and promotions about what to look out for. And it might be those stereotypical symptoms, but it might just be that actually when you go to the toilet, it's uncomfortable, there is something not quite right, it changes. And it could be stress related, could be IBS, but actually you don't know unless you go and ask and you won't get checked out. So I think it's really important to do that.
Well, I'm really glad that you did. Yes. And it's really good to see you looking well and fit and back to work and everything. So thank you for talking with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.